Over the past few days, global oil markets have suddenly become tense. Oil prices are rising, tankers are hesitating to sail, and governments around the world are watching the situation very closely. The reason is a rapidly escalating conflict in the Middle East, a war involving the United States and Israel against Iran has dramatically increased tension across the region. And right at the center of the crisis lies one narrow waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, a route that carries about one-fifth of the world's oil supply every single day. And when something threatens this route, the entire world pays attention. This is question why. And today we ask why the world is suddenly worried about oil supply. To understand the concern, we first need to understand how important this waterway really is. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf to the global ocean. At its narrowest point, it is only about 33 kilometers wide. But through this narrow passage flows roughly 20 million barrels of oil every day. Oil from major producers such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates all pass through this single route before reaching global markets. But geography makes this route extremely sensitive because the northern side of the Strait of Hormuz directly along the coastline of Iran. That means Iran sits in a position where it can potentially threaten or disrupt shipping moving through the corridor. And during times of conflict, the geography suddenly becomes very important. So why the oil market suddenly worried now? The answer begins with the war that erupted in late February. Following military strikes involving the United States and Israel against targets in Iran, tension across the region escalated rapidly. Iran responded with threats and military activity across the region, and soon the crisis began affecting global energy routes. Shipping companies started suspending voyages through the Strait of Hormuz because of security risks. Some tankers were reportedly struck by drones, while others simply chose to wait outside the strait. According to shipping and energy data firms, tanker traffic through the strait has dropped dramatically since the conflict escalated. At the same time, attacks and threats against energy infrastructure in the region have increased fears that both oil transportation and oil production could be disrupted. And when markets see risks to both supply routes and energy facilities, oil prices react quickly. The consequences of this crisis could extend far beyond the Middle East because oil is not just another commodity. It is the fuel that powers transportation, manufacturing, aviation, and global trade. When oil supply becomes uncertain, energy prices usually rise. And when energy prices rise, the effects can spread through the entire global economy. Countries that rely heavily on imported oil, such as China, India, and many nations in Europe, are particularly vulnerable. Even a partial disruption of the Strait of Hormuz could remove millions of barrels of oil from global supply. And that could push prices higher, increases transportation costs, and eventually affect everyday consumers around the world. So, the current concerns about oil is not just about one conflict. It is about how dependent the modern global economy has become on a few critical routes. And the Strait of Hormuz is the most important of all. A narrow passage that quietly carries a huge share of world's energy. But when conflict reaches a place like this, the impact can travel far beyond the region itself. How prepared is the world if the most important energy routes becomes unstable? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. This is Question Why. Until next time.